Natalie walks up to me and she goes, "Hey, we were good until you got here. I need you to go back out that garage door and start over.
Go try again.
So whatever you need to do,
Fail.
I want you to go back out that garage door. I want you to do your own reflection, whatever you need to do. And then you come back in and try again because we were good before you got here."
Oh, wow.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to... What's the name of this podcast?
Let's talk.
Let's talk. You know what? I need to start subscribing so I can figure out the name of our own podcast.
I promise
we're
we
gonna
go
have to start
here.
over.
Yeah.
All right, Carl, one more. Maybe.
Send it. Send
Be
it.
sure to hit that like button.
What's the name of it again?
You know, the like button.
Oh, there it is up on the screen.
Oh, it's right in
Welcome
front of me.
to...
I don't know if they can see that on
I was
camera,
way off.
but it's
Let's
really
talk.
big on the wall.
Here it is right here on the screen.
I've never done
way
this.
off.
I've never done this before. Swimmy, swummy,
Sammy.
Samsonite. There we go.
Swamich.
All right. All right, Carl.
Today, guys, we are talking about marriage on the whatever the name of this podcast is show. Marriage, as they say in the olden days. What is marriage, guys? What do we think?
Well, I can tell you it's definitely not a contract. That's, kind of the perspective today is, hey, something that can easily be broken. If it's not working, we can just move on.
You can get in, you can get out, have fun while you're there.
Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
let the door hit you.
Yep.
So as we're thinking about marriage, we're all married here sitting around this couch.
now.
We'll
Yeah.
see at the end of
After
the
this
show.
podcast,
We
It's
may
gonna
not
be-
get week 2 in.
Right.
During the rehearsal, I didn't think we were going to make it. None of
One
us.
of the good thing it wasn't recorded.
Amen.
One of the things that's really important when you're married is the gifts that you get for your spouse, especially on those important days. Christmas, Valentine's Day, your anniversary is premium. Have you guys ever struck out with a gift? Something you thought was going to be just the thing and it just fell flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struck out Christmas. Bought my wife a bicycle. I'm thinking,
All right.
awesome. That pretty nice bicycle.
Did she ask for a bicycle?
No,
Okay.
I mean, that's why it's a gift.
That's right. It's a surprise.
And so anyway, we brought it out at Christmas time, and thank you. And the next day it went back.
Oh,
So it honestly kind of ticked me off. I'm like, I bought you this nice gift.
yeah.
You don't want
At
it.
least ride it.
That's fine. That's fine.
What did she exchange it for?
I don't even remember. Probably Hobby Lobby gift cards. That's what she's into. She's
You
not.
know what she's into? You got her a bike.
Were you,
Well-
was there a context around the gift being a bicycle, or was it just being generous?
I was just being nice. I'm like,
It sounds like that joke you made earlier. That's what it sounds like.
what joke was that?
Does this dress make me look fat?
No, you're.
I
I never said that. I wouldn't.
That's
I would
what the
never say
bicycle
that.
said it for you.
No. It wasn't like, hey, lose weight. It was like, have some fun.
Just
We live
go
in the
see-
mountains.
Well,
Go
hold
see
on.
nature. Go enjoy God's creation.
Did you have a bicycle to ride with her, or
No.
was it? I'm not too sure. So I got Natalie a blender.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did she ask for a blender?
No,
Yeah.
it's a mistake to get your wife an appliance.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
a birthday
No,
gift.
wrong.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
see that makes sense. That's like work stuff. That's like
Yeah.
that's like woman, go cook me something.
Right, make me a
your new
sandwich.
wife.
Make me a smoothie.
What are things that come to mind that we should not say or do in marriage? Have you ever seen the guy that rattles his ice when his tea glass is empty? That guy's in trouble.
Is that like his waiter?
Yeah.
Garçon.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the bell.
That's not going to go well.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
No,
Dangerous
you can't
business.
say that.
Here's a good one. you're about to leave. It's like we're on the way out the door. She comes out of the bedroom. She's ready to go. And you finish with, "You're wearing that."
No.
No, Brad.
Mm.
No, Brad.
Yeah,
Danger.
been there.
Eject, eject, eject.
Wow.
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 Don't do
That's
it.
just trouble.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
said that before, though.
Yeah.
I
You-
said that last week.
Yeah.
We were going to a nice restaurant. I just didn't think she was up to par.
Oh, dear.
She's not
We have a
here
podcast
right now.
for this.
When we got to the restaurant, she was grateful, though. She's like, "Yep, you were right."
I was
So,
underdressed.
so-
But the fact that you made it to the restaurant
Yeah, you
for
survived
her to have that
to the
realization,
restaurant.
it was a
was
quiet
perfect.
drive.
Yeah. Introspective
I'm pretty
drive.
sure
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Valentine's.
Yeah.
It was Valentine's. It was a quiet drive, but
I imagine
we made it,
so.
and she was grateful. Thank you.
That's. Did she say thank you?
Well, not in so many
Or
words.
did you say, "You can thank me now"?
Look,
another thing
everybody's
you don't
dressed
say.
so nice.
That's another thing you don't say.
Yeah. Don't invite her to thank you for things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you thankful now?
Look at what I did for you.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh,
Marriage.
So- oh
Marriage.
man. So in the vein of kind of describing what marriage is, I pulled up a few definitions of marriage to kind of give us a foundation to build off of, if
Okay.
you will. So I'm going to go in a particular order. First marriage definition I got is from the Webster Dictionary, classic. And it says the state of being united as spouses in a contractual relationship that's recognized by law. Already, you have spoken against the idea of it being a contract.
yeah.
Next, I went to Google AI, which actually does a pretty decent job of aggregating information. And it calls it a legally and socially recognized union, usually between two people, which I thought was strange. I don't know who else you're marrying that's not a people. But it establishes the rights and obligations between them, their families, and society.
I think they should have just added tax benefits.
Tax benefits.
Yep.
And so, I don't know. What do y'all think about those two definitions? Are they lacking? Are they actually kind of close to how people view marriage?
Culturally, it sounds right, but it's definitely lacking.
It's lacking.
Lacking from the biblical standpoint of rather than contract, the Bible would speak to covenant.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the next definition I got from a Bible dictionary, it's a little longer, which makes sense because there's a little more to it. It calls it a sacred lifelong covenant ordained by God, uniting one man and one woman
There we
as
go.
one flesh.
Yep.
It's defined by exclusive sacrificial love, faithfulness, and companionship, and serves as a reflection of Christ's relationship with the church.
Love it.
Great.
That's a really nice
Yeah.
way to articulate it, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
And so what do you think is the disconnect between kind of those first two definitions and how the world views marriage, or do you think there even is a disconnect in how the Bible views marriage?
Yeah, there's definitely a major disconnect. And you talked to it earlier. The contract. Hey, we're going to give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get along, if we're compatible, if we're this, if we're that, if, the Bible says, man, it's a decision. It's we're going to make it. So like an example might be, a couple that gets into a big fight, and they can't get it resolved. And one guy walks out the door and she's mad in the bedroom, and you got that whole issue going on. And that can, and that develops into something that's really creates a divide in the marriage. And 6 months later, they're divorced.
Yeah.
For my wife and I, anybody that's watching this, if you're married any length of time, we're coming up on 32 years.
Congratulations.
So we've done a few things right. A few.
Bicycle excluded.
Well, there's more than that, but we'll just leave that. We'll let that be. But we always had the attitude, like if we're having disagreement or a fight, and we had a lot of those in the early years, man. We're both kind of stubborn. We're both just, we enjoy a good fight actually every now and then. But we had this attitude of, we have to come back together because we're going to stay together. So there was a commitment to work it out.
Yeah.
There were times where, man, it'd be a day or two of just some cold shoulder and some, processing and trying to, stick it to the other person a little bit. I mean, we all get in the flesh a little bit sometimes. Hopefully we're maturing, growing up, and not so much that anymore, thankfully, but we never discussed divorce. It's never come out of our mouths. It's not even an option because we
Yeah.
are in a covenant relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge. And just from the counseling background, as soon as the word divorce enters a conversation in a marriage, you're already on a really slippery slope, and you should probably start looking for counseling right away. Because it can't be an option. Like, it can't be on the table.
Boy, you talk about undermining trust and security.
Mm-hmm.
We actually feel freedom to work and fight, even if I can use that, because there's the security of we're in this together.
Yeah.
We'll work through our issues, but we're in this, and that's, I think, the world, generally speaking, their definition does not hold to that same level, that weight and that commitment that we have.
And I really think that's a beautiful way to articulate it, because like that the freedom to argue it's really safety,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
When divorce isn't even on the table, it's not even in the house, we can have an argument, and we can be honest, and we can speak truth in love without fear, because we have that safe understanding, we have that trust between each other, that's not even something in consideration, and so we can be real with each other.
Good.
And man, that's really beautiful, the idea of safety in that ability to argue and discuss, because so many times in culture today, people go into marriage expecting that there's not going to be arguing and fighting, and it's going to be, Disneyland and puppy dog tails and rainbows the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
I love, something that comes to mind. You guys are kind of helping me remember here, but it's not about who's right, it's what's right.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a good, just a quick little statement for our heart, in the context of relationships. It's not about who's right, it's what's right. Because if I'm focused on what's right, if I'm really committed to what's right, really, I want to honor the Lord, I want to honor this person, I want to be committed to what's right, then being right isn't as important.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times in marriage, the need to be right supersedes what's right. And that's where conflict and challenges and issues come up in these relationships.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll kind of get deeper into that concept a little bit later on, I think. But kind of just off the bat, we've already talked about contracts and covenants a little bit. And so something that's always interested me is, us being pastors, doing weddings, the wedding vows that people do, they come in all different kinds of flavors, but generally they're pretty similar, from secular weddings to, all different faith backgrounds. And it always is some kind of variation of, I take you, whoever, to be my wife, have and hold, just say forward, better or worse, richer or poorer, sickness and health, till death do us part. And when we think about marriage being a covenant, and those are the terms of the agreement that we're entering into, the promises and the expectations, there's no loopholes in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm agreeing to have you, to care for you through all of these negative circumstances and all of these positive circumstances until one of us is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a no loophole, that's a no out, that's an enduring commitment. And one of the things that we had kind of talked about a little bit earlier is in the pre-show is, like, what are the two covenants we experience in our lives that have that level of enduring commitment? And it's our marriage and our covenant with God, right?
Yeah.
All the other agreements we enter into, all the other covenants we enter into are limited. They have stipulations, they have loopholes, they have outs. And so I think what y'all were talking about is so vital, just as a foundational piece of marriage, to understand that, like, this is something you're agreeing to, you're making a promise and a commitment to for the long term. Like, this is a forever type of thing.
I've got a friend that his name's Mike, and his wife had, I believe she'd had a stroke or something like that, was in a wheelchair.
Mm.
Quite, you may know,
Mhm.
you may know Mike, but he, I was on a trip with him and his wife. We're there, and we were taking a little bus trip, and I remember him. He kind of had to help get her around, help get her food, you
Yeah.
know, and he wasn't an old guy. It wasn't like she was an old woman, but he was married to her, and I saw him, you know, kind of put her up on his shoulder to walk her on the bus, carried her on the bus, and would care for her and love her, and man, it just spoke to this kind of commitment.
Yeah.
Like you don't shut it down when health crisis comes.
When it gets hard.
When it gets hard, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
We hold in when it's extremely difficult, when it's challenging, when there may be no light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And so my friend Mike is a great testament to anybody that would observe. Wow, you know, your commitment to this woman is stellar,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's
good.
impressive, and that's God's commitment to us.
Yeah. Ultimately,
I mean,
yeah.
he doesn't. We mess up, and I mean, he's got so many reasons to say, "Well, let's just shut it down." He doesn't.
Yeah.
He loves us. He stays with us.
Yeah.
We fail him. We fall short. We can't do this or that, and it's the love God has for us, and that's the love we're to have for our wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and really, like, if you look through Genesis, that's essentially the story of Genesis is God entering into covenant relationship with these people and expecting unity and receiving disunity and rebellion in its place.
Yeah.
And the humans consistently are the broken piece, and God's consistently consistent in those relationships. And that's what marriage is intended to reflect, is that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think another thing that comes to mind in marriage is having a constant place of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
You ultimately you can't control what the other person may do. But the reality is if I lean in with a constant place of forgiveness, that gives grace to the space in the relationship, and it's looking for constant redemption, resolution. We're moving the relationship forward because no matter what, I'm going to stand in that forgiveness.
It's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. You know, I want to challenge maybe some of the men that are watching here. You know, as Christians, we believe the Bible teaches that we are the leaders of the home, and what that means is that we go first.
Yeah.
We go first as men. We're the first to forgive. Well, she did. No,
Yeah.
you lead. She may not deserve it, but God has called us to lead with grace, with forgiveness. We should be the ones that are stepping out and doing the hard work when we're both stubborn.
Yeah. Ownership.
Ownership. And so I know there's probably some guys watching today that it's not good at home. You take the lead and bring in healing and wholeness to your home. And you can't control her, you can control you.
Absolutely.
And that is our job as men, as husbands.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sure y'all out there have heard it. I know y'all have, that men are they're the thermostat, not the thermometer, right? We set the tone, we set the temperature, not just in the house, but in the marriage specifically. And so kind of as we're moving that direction with that kind of line of thought, thinking about the things that we're doing that are setting that temperature, what are the things that we are married to? And so kind of what we're meaning by that is guys can find themselves in their lives married to all kinds of things that are not their wife. And so it kind of in y'all's experience, what are some of the things that guys can unintentionally or intentionally find themselves married to in the world?
A great question. I so many things come to mind, just like you said, but you know, even as pastors and having served in the ministry for a number of years, you can end up being married to the ministry.
Hey, absolutely.
You know, you can end up being married to work. You can end up being married to your job, your career. You can end up being married to your kids' ball games and their reputation. I can be married to my right. I can be married to my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, and then I miss out on relationship and genuine transparency and openness and genuine connection. And another thing that comes to mind is the whole idea of, well, if she would do this, then I would do this. If I could get her to change or see this, the problem in that is it's unrealistic. And the reality is, it's like you said, ownership. I need to be that change. I need to be that thermometer. I need to be that, that difference maker, and lead in repentance, lead in forgiveness, lead in serving. And I think that's it at the core, in a marriage, where there's health.
Absolutely.
One of the things that, I've had to work on, that you talk about the thermostat, I'm a leader. Like I'll usually set the tone wherever I'm at, but sometimes I'll set it in the wrong way,
Yeah.
and I'll come home and, stressed out or whatever, and you'll
Blow it up.
say something that's, and my kids, every now and then I'll just kind of get triggered by, and then I'll go from 0 to 100 like quick, and they laugh, and whatever. It's not like horrible, but I'll, I'll get fired up. And so, but one of the things that I'm learning is that, and I'm trying to grow in, is bring peace wherever I go.
Yeah. Be a peacemaker.
Be a peacemaker. And so walking in strength, as a man, but softly.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm anxious, I'm fired up, I'm ready to, testosterone, I guess. I don't know, but I'm trying to ask the Lord, help me to dial it down.
Yeah.
Listen better. It's a problem I have. I like to talk.
I think that's pastoral, right? Yeah.
In fact, that's the name of our
Let's
podcast.
talk.
Let's talk.
Interesting.
Let's talk. Not let's listen.
Yeah.
That'd be a boring.
We should have
that'd
named
be a boring podcast.
That's what we should have named this episode, probably.
Can we put just a small little bin? Let Ben talk.
Put that little let Ben talk. Nice. Now, see, that's
Now
how
we're going somewhere.
now this podcast. We're gonna have 5 followers by the end of this.
That's heck
Oh,
yeah. Growing.
There's no
We're
doubt.
growing. We're growing.
It's so
Brought
as
to you
we're-
by the Chicago Cubs.
Bears.
Oh, Bears. That's
Oh,
Bear. That's
dear.
my Bears. Moment.
We're definitely not getting sponsored by the Bears
Yeah.
now.
And I'm a fake fan.
I'm
Bears fan.
a
I
bold
fake
and
it.
not Bears fan.
Come on, guys. If we truly ever do get sponsored by the Bears, like, our producer's going to be like, you need to raise my pay.
He's gonna need double the Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Twice the Chick-fil-A.
Double them up.
Carl, we got you, buddy.
I
appreciate that.
This Chick-fil-A thing drives me nuts. That is not Christian chicken.
Whoa.
It's
not.
the only Christian chicken.
It's not. It's not.
You know
I
what?
think-
Hey, you need to
We
repent.
need revival
We
in
need,
this
we need
space.
God to move.
I can't be the lead repenter in this scenario.
The only repenter. Everybody else is saved.
Are you even saved?
This is the question.
If you
This is
if you
ultimate.
can't fall in love with Chick-fil-A, I don't know if we can have
You
that
might
on
be a Bears
podcast.
fan.
Listen, if you're closed on Sunday, there's something going on. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to
They
church.
love Jesus. Yeah.
Oh.
He's expecting money laundering or something.
No, they're in church worship. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to find restoration on this topic.
Christian
No,
chicken.
we're going to pray. We can intercede.
Yeah, we're going to have to lay hands on him or
I'd rather
something.
go to Popeyes.
So that's where,
Oh, wow.
oh, just that hurts my heart a little bit.
That clogs my arteries a little bit.
That's the truth. So as we're thinking about marriage, moving forward, being
thinking about chicken.
the thermostat, setting the temperature of your house, really the things that we're married to, they end up defining our priorities in our lives, the kind of the order of our priorities and the things we're giving our attention and our time and ultimately our influence to. And so something that we had kind of talked about a little bit in pre-show that is actually pretty convicting is, what would people outside of your marriage identify as the things that you are married to? What would your friends, what would the people around you say are the things that you're married to? And we don't need to answer that around here. We'll get ourselves in trouble. But just as a challenging thing for you as the listeners to think about, what are some of the things that the people around you in your life would say that you're married to? And just really spend a little bit of time today maybe thinking about that while you're driving after the show's over, not at the same time. Separate
Hey,
those two
and
things.
the other thing is, what would she say I'm married to?
What would your wife say you're married
Because
to?
the truth is she feels that reality. She feels it, right? If it's, in our case, it's our career, it's our influence, our leadership, if it's our identity, our reputation, if it's money, whatever it is, the
Hobbies.
reality, exactly. The reality is she feels that. And I think we have to do a priority check.
Yeah,
We got
absolutely.
to check in on our heart, do a priority check and be honest and say, okay, this is an area where I'm not leaning in enough.
Yeah.
Well, and there's seasons to life too, as we all know. There's seasons where the career may be a little more demanding, and
That's right.
I think one of the things that we have
Golf could be more demanding.
Well, it certainly is in my case. You're supposed to be shooting 72, and
It's never a hard game when you're bad at it.
108. My
You're
honey,
not
I
out
can't.
there.
I can't love you and take you out. My back's out.
I'm not good enough at golf to get upset about golf.
I stink at it, and I still get upset about golf.
Have you ever broken a club?
No, but I lost one up in a tree once.
That's a story.
That's
Well,
Is
it
it
was-
marriage related?
No, but it's still a good story. I was a par three. I was
good
at a
story.
tournament. I'm trying to win a car.
That's a heck of a
it's
tournament.
a hole in one. Yeah. I'm like, let's go for it. And I was between clubs. I'm like, I'm gonna club down and I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And it was hot out. It was like 100 degrees. I swung super hard and the club slipped out of my hands, went up in a tree, never came down. I lost my 7-iron that day.
That's a key club.
I didn't only lose out on the car. I lost a nice club up in a tree. I couldn't even see it. Never came down.
That's scary.
Well,
Because now you're 150 out and you don't have a club.
exactly.
That's
Not the danger for someone else walking under that tree later, getting hit by the club coming down. Although you blessed somebody, the next golfer through was blessed with a new 7-iron.
I mean, what are they going to do? It's not going to match their set.
What if it's nicer than
mine
theirs?
are extra long because I'm tall.
That's true.
that's bragging.
So you
That's
did
bragging.
humble
It is what it
brag.
It is what it is. Anyway, where I was going with this is we will take because our wives will let us chase a career for a little while, because they want good for us.
Yeah.
They want you to succeed and they want us to do well. And what we'll do is we'll take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take their grace for granted. And so we're essentially saying, listen, hold this rock. I'm gonna go out and win the world. I'm gonna go out and make my money, and I'm gonna go out and do this. And then what happens, because our wives, and this is where a lot of marriages break down. 10, 15, 20 years of this, the wife is stuck holding the same rock, not just for a few weeks or a few months, for years. And it starts to slip and it starts to drop and it goes to the ground. Marriage is over. And the guy's like, what happened? I mean, we've been doing the same thing we've been doing. And you took for granted what you were asking your wife to do.
And then she said, I can't do this.
I can't do it anymore. And we're shocked. And the wife, which initially wanted to support us, wanted to hold the rock, was willing,
believed in you,
believed in us. And we made her carry it and carry it and carry it until she couldn't do it anymore. And I think there's some men listening today. You need to be aware of this. You're asking your wife to hold something that she wasn't designed and built to hold. And if you are not aware enough, if you are not paying attention enough, if you're taking her for granted, you could be harming your marriage and not even know know that you're doing it. And so I want to encourage you to do a check-in. Make sure your wife's heart is good. Make sure she can speak to you and let you know, actually I'm struggling, because many of your wives are fantastic women and they want to do this. They want you to succeed in your life and your career. They want you to have a good hobby. But they weren't built for this. And I've seen many marriages go awry because the husband said, hold it and keep holding it. And it's not fair to them. And so I just want to encourage you, men, do a check-in with your wives on this. It's important.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is in that check-in with her is be a safe place for her to say truth.
Hmm.
This is how this makes me feel. When you do this, or when I see these things being a priority in your life, this is how it makes me feel. Because if we rise up with defensiveness, then they begin to shut down. Now we no longer have, they don't feel like they have permission, and we're
Yeah.
not creating that safe place for them to be able to come and say, hey, some of the greatest breakthroughs I've had in my marriage has been being that safe place where Natalie can say, hey, listen, this isn't working. I'll share a funny story. One time I was traveling, I was gone for a couple of days, and I came back home and I walked in the back door of the garage. I came in the house and I started barking, and I'm barking orders. And Natalie walks up to me and she goes, hey, we were good until you got here. I need you to go back out that garage door and start over.
Go try again.
So whatever you need to do,
Fail.
I want you to go back out that garage door. I want you to do your own reflection, whatever you need to do. And then you come back in and try again, because we were good before you got here.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you,
That's
she
convicting.
walked me out the door and she shut the door behind me. And I stood there on that mat at the garage door and I did my reflection.
Yeah.
And I thought, wait a second.
Hmm.
Wait a second. What am I bringing in my home?
Yeah. That's
And I
wild.
went back in a new man. And I've never forgotten that.
And how easy would it have been for you in that moment to let your pride well up and get defensive
Yeah.
and be like, you don't tell me how I had a hard day. I had a long day. Look at everything I'm doing for this family.
Yeah.
Spent all day at work. And like so many men just fall into that response, and they're not willing to receive
Yeah.
the wisdom from their wife.
Man, I've done that. I still do that.
Yeah.
There's something within me that doesn't want that pushback.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
I'm the man.
There's some justification you don't know, and it's a lack of humility. It's pride,
Yeah.
and it can really shut your wife down,
Yeah.
and to where she won't talk to you and can't talk to you. And so, I mean, we've been married 32 years. I still struggle with stuff like that.
A really dangerous place to find yourself as a husband is having the thought process of, look at everything I'm doing for
Yep,
her. Look
yep.
at everything I'm doing for this family. If that's something that's in your head,
Yeah,
you are absolutely justifying being married to the wrong things in your life.
yeah,
And it's something you
good.
need to
That's good.
reevaluate. And so just kind of moving forward from that, and really building off of that, looking at kind of what the expectations are for husbands, the biblical expectations. And we don't have to go into necessarily a lot of scripture, but we kind of in pre-show, we boiled this down to kind of 3 things that we think are kind of vital pieces for a husband to really make sure that they're focusing on and being intentional about developing themselves in. And that is leading, building trust, and what we're calling taking the L, or this kind of idea of dying to self or spouse, which is kind of churchyese. And so taking the L is kind of a much more friendly way to approach and consume that. And so let's start off talking about like what true leadership is. And I think probably one of my favorite examples in the Bible of kind of the gamut of leadership is David. Because you see him leading tremendously, leading from the front, being someone that people place their trust in, being someone that is worthy of trust and not demanding of trust, doing all the things that he should be doing. His men follow him into even sketchy situations that he probably shouldn't be in, but they have that safety and that trust that you talked about, where they're not afraid to be like, hey, this is kind of dicey. What are we doing? They're not afraid to have those conversations with him. And then at the same time in David's life, we see moments where he's not leading from the front. The times that he struggles are the times that he is not leading as he should be leading, when he's not following kind of this biblical expectation of this biblical foundation of leadership. And so just as we're thinking through that, what are some, I guess, qualities of leadership for husbands that stand out to you guys? I know we kind of talked about a few of them already as we're going through, but let's kind of consolidate our thoughts on that.
Something that comes to mind is obviously the 5 love languages, right? And we can dive into that later on. But the reality is a heart to serve, because marriage is not top down autocratic style leadership in a home and in a relationship in the marriage. It's bottom up.
Yeah.
It's really holding that bottom space, right? It's, am I willing to do dishes? For my wife, when I do dishes, it turns her on. It does.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. My mom, she taught me years ago. She said, good, healthy, intimate life starts in the kitchen. Serve.
Yeah. That's a great place
Serve
to
your
do
wife.
it. Yeah.
And I think that that's, at the core of what leadership looks like in a healthy marriage. It's, I have a heart to serve. What are her dreams? My personal mission statement in life is helping people fulfill their dream. It starts with, Lord, what's your dream? What's your dream? And how do I participate with you in that dream? And then next is my wife. What's her dream? And are there things in my life that make her dreams a priority? How am I walking that out? How am I walking with her in that space of what is your dream? And that heart to serve, I think, is key critical in a healthy relationship and marriage.
Well, we get that from Christ. He was our model. He was our example. He's getting ready to go to the cross, and he's washing feet. That's a lowly task. And, there may be some men today watching and, wives submit your husbands. We might talk a little bit about that next week. But
Yeah, it's not do what I tell you to do.
No. And it starts with Ephesians 5. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Really just read Ephesians 5. It kind of tells you how to be a good husband.
Yeah, and
well, finish the rest of that. And gave himself
up
for her.
For total sacrifice. Take the L.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to win. Your goal, as you said, is to lift. Yes, there's I guess a privilege in a sense of being able to lead the home, and that is the call of the man, and we don't shy away from that.
Yeah.
That is our job, but in our leadership, and that is a way that we serve as well. We do the dishes, but we also lead the home.
That's right.
We also say this is the direction we're going. And if you're doing both of those, I've found that most women, they're willing to submit and they're willing to go. But if you're not loving them as Christ loved the church, they're probably gonna buck up on you.
Yeah, they're looking for healthy, safe leadership.
Yeah. If you're not willing to be the one behaving rightly and doing the things as they should be done to lead the way, you can't expect her to follow you.
No.
Now she might. You might be blessed in that, but you can't expect it if you're not willing to first be the one willing to take the oath.
Yeah.
First be the one willing to be someone worthy of trust. You can't expect her to give you that trust and entrust you with the leadership of the home if you're not living out what it looks like to do that the right way.
Yeah.
And so that kind of takes us right into talking about trust. Just as a baseline, what is trust? And it's a word we throw around a lot, especially in relationships nowadays. To y'all, I guess, what is trust? Not a dictionary definition necessarily.
I think it's something that you can count on.
Mm-hmm. Reliability.
Reliability is trust. I think it's a lot deeper than telling the truth or not lying.
Yeah.
Reliability is a huge thing. And so I think one of the things that we can strengthen our marriages in is just consistency. Boring consistency is a way that, I know that's not sexy, but it's the foundation of any good relationship.
Yeah, it's where all the work happens. I did a whole sermon on that a couple of weeks ago,
yeah?
actually. Yeah.
I think that, what comes to mind for me is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Right. Being trustworthy. I have my kids at any time, and of course, most of them are grown now, but they may say, Dad, can I see your phone?
Mm-hmm.
And my wife, can I see your phone? And I think that it's little things in our life that make us trustworthy. Mm-hmm. And, there may be some guys today that feel like, man, I've broken trust. I've broken my wife's heart. I've broken the trust or the heart of my children. And man, I just want to say God is a redeemer.
Yep.
He restores brokenhearted the brokenhearted, and he's a redeemer, and God can bring healing to marriages. God can bring healing to those relationships with your kids. And the reality is we've got to walk in humility and ownership. But man, I just want to speak to the guy today that feels like, man, I blew it, or I've been blowing it in my marriage. And I just want to encourage you today. You haven't blown it. God is a redeemer. Walk in humility and genuine love and ownership, and watch God bring restoration and healing to your family. And that's who God is. He is that Father. And many of us, have had issues in our life where we've been through abuse, or we've been through challenges. We have an upbringing issue, or a mother issue, or father issue, and those things kind of work in our heart and work into our character, and start putting definition and identity on our life that isn't really God. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to encourage those guys today that may feel like, man, I don't know what I have to give. You pursue your relationship with Jesus, and you focus on growing a dynamic, healthy relationship with God, and that will flow through you into your marriage. It will flow through you into your relationship with your children.
Good. And I'll just tag on. It's not about words at that point. When you're trying to restore trust, it's action.
That's right.
It's action.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage you to probably less words, more action, and God will help you restore.
Well, and I tell you what, guys, like we're getting kind of long on the clock here, but I think this is a really important thing to really nail down for guys. So many guys struggle with this. Damaged trust in relationships, regardless of what that looks like and how it happened. Let's talk through just real quickly some practical, like real, tangible, practical steps that guys can put into place. One, in the effort of restoring damaged trust, but two, and I think probably more importantly, in an effort of preventing trust being damaged in the future. Personal experiences. What are some things that you guys do to ensure that trust remains strong and consistent in your relationships?
I think one is having good relationships that support me in my marriage, and having guys that stand with me that I can call and say, hey man, I blew it, or hey, pray for me in this area of my marriage or my relationship, or even the way that I respond. You were talking earlier about, coming in and getting hot, and the kids laughing and but the reality is, I think we need to lean heavier on community to help us, to lean in with us on, these are areas of my life where I need to grow. And I know God's pushing on this thing in my heart and my life, and he's calling me to a more mature place.
Yeah. We need some wingmen, some armor bearers in our lives.
Yeah. And I think it's worth saying you need to seek some out.
Yeah.
They don't always just fall into your lap, and get around some people that impress you and that are doing it better than you.
Yeah.
And say, hey, can we talk once a month? Can we get together? Can we do a double date? That you've got to go get that.
Yeah.
It doesn't always just come to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good.
What does transparency in y'all's marriages look like?
Well, when I think of transparency, I think of that everything is on the table. I had a leader ask me one time that I worked for, he said, what's off limits? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, your marriage, your money, what about your life would you say is off limits in our relationship for us to grow? And I said, nothing. It's all on the table. And I think that in marriage, it's got to be everything. I'm all in. And I think that's important, is nothing is off limits. Everything is on the table.
You can't sit on the fence in marriage. You're either in the marriage or you're out of it. That's absolutely it. And something that comes up a lot in counseling, a lot of times, unfortunately, the couple sitting across from you in a counseling session are beyond the damaged trust moment. And so talking through what restoration in that looks like and what transparency looks like, a lot of guys don't want to go there. And really, like, the foundational piece that we always talk about is you can't be doing things that need hiding. And so if you're intentional about not having things in your life that need hiding, the transparency and the trust will grow, like having a lock on your phone. Like, if not saying that your wife should just pick up your phone and be going through your business, but your wife should be able to pick up your phone and go through your business because there shouldn't be anything on here that she couldn't be able to see.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be anything on there that you would be embarrassed for someone else to see.
When you bring up that issue, what we're talking about is one flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That means everything's together.
Yeah.
Like there's a big thing now where people get married and they keep their money separate.
Yeah.
That's not one flesh. That's
No.
a business partnership,
That's
as Dave
exactly what-
Ramsey would say.
Yeah, that's tax benefits is what that is.
Yeah. And so my wife has access to every dime, every credit card, every this,
Mhm.
every. She can get onto my phone on any account. Now she doesn't because
the trust is
of the
there.
trust
Yeah,
is there.
yeah.
But if that was ever damaged, I would
Mhm.
make sure that she had access to every credit card, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that she would know, listen, I'm trying to rebuild. My life is an open book.
Mhm.
Now I kind of live my life that way.
Right,
Anyway.
yeah.
I'm just
In front of the camera.
what you see is what you get. You're either going to like it or not. But and that's a great way to live life. And so that's you do build trust with the people that are around you, certainly your spouse, when you can live that openly. And I think that's a very good thing.
Yeah, 100%. And so kind of our last thing to talk about now is taking the L. And I think this is probably the hardest thing for guys to do. We've already talked about a couple of moments in our own lives where this has been an issue. Why do you guys think this is so hard for guys? Taking it on the chin.
Ego.
We want to
pride.
win.
Yeah.
We want to win.
Yeah, it's wired
We want to
into us.
dominate. We
It's a
want to.
reputation thing. It's
It's ego. It's all
Pride.
pride. It's the devil.
Yeah, right.
the
Yeah.
devil in You know, we're human. We're human,
Mhm.
and that sinful nature is always trying to creep up in us.
Yeah.
And
oh, go
taking
ahead.
taking the L is not something that the flesh wants to do.
And really, not only is it not something it wants to do, it's the opposite of what the flesh wants to do. The flesh wants to win, right?
Yeah.
And taking the L is intentionally losing. That's being in an argument, knowing you're right, but being okay losing. That's a hard thing to do, guys.
You know, I was in a prayer retreat this week, and they were talking about Jesus in Gethsemane in the battle that he was. You know, you talk about taking an L.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was, Father, if there's any way to get out of this. And he prayed, he was in there. And I believe that he had to get into the headspace of the why,
Mm.
the compassion.
Yeah.
I love the people. Not just I'm going to obey my Father because he said so. No, I think he had to get into that space of I'm doing it for this reason.
Yeah. His heart posture.
And that's
Yeah.
how we're to be toward our wives, toward
Mhm.
our other relationships, that we're willing to sacrifice to that level, not because the Bible said so, although it does, but to have that compassion for our wives, that we could lower ourselves, we could take abuse,
Mm-hmm.
we could take the L,
Yeah.
we could take loss of our own desires, which is terribly hard for me. I'm a selfish person. I'm reminded of that every day. I'm just that I fight that.
Yeah. I mean, all of us. Honestly, yeah.
But that's when the Lord's working in us and he's changing us to be the men that we ought to be.
Amen.
And we're all on that journey.
Yeah. And yeah, like I find in my life that kind of the ultimate test, the ultimate box that I need to be able to check in any interaction with my wife is, does this lead us towards unity in our marriage, or does this lead us towards disunity?
Mm.
And I think if you ask yourself that question with every interaction, every argument, if you can find enough pause to run the next words in your head through that test, you will find yourself taking the L far more often than you find yourself fighting for a win in your marriage.
That reminds me of just a phrase that I use is do business with God and first. And so, you know, the reality is when we're in the wrestling match of life in marriage and family, I need to do business with God first.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a percentage that I've got to own, that I bring to the table, Maybe it's 25%, maybe it's 95% that I'm the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a percentage of that thing that I've got to own and do business with God around. And after I do business with God, then I can come back to that person. I can come back to my wife, or I can come back to my kids, or whatever it is. I can come back to that person and say, hey, here's what I see about me. And it's up to them to do their own business with God. And we trust that they can, and that they know how, and they know how to work through that process. But we can't go, hey, I did business with God. Did you?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. It's an example we have to live and lead. And we can expect that of people, and we can encourage it in people, but we can't judge people for not being there with us.
Yeah.
Good.
Guys, I love it. Marriage is so important. It's literally the second most important relationship in your entire life.
Absolutely.
If you're not treating it that way, well, you've got some mirror work to do. You need to look in it and really start digging deep and thinking deeply about what your priorities are, what it is that you're actually married to, and what you need to be doing to grow and develop yourself in these areas that we've been talking about today. Are the things that you're doing leading you towards unity, leading your marriage towards unity, or are they instilling and letting the seeds of disunity come in? It's such a vital thing that we as men today struggle with and navigate. And I think everything we've talked about in this episode about marriage is just as important for the people we were speaking to in the last episode about dating. I think it's equally as important for them to hear this stuff, because this is the end point of dating, right? This is where we're trying to go. And so if we learn these things ahead of time, man, you're on such a much better footing going into it. Guys, do y'all have any final thoughts before we kind of close out today?
I would say, don't muscle this one.
Yeah.
This one isn't the hero thing. This one isn't a muscle through. This one is I die daily. It requires humility, vulnerability. Come in low, serve with love, serve with compassion. Be quick to own your thing. This one isn't a muscle.
Yeah.
A big strong guy response here. This is I come in low with healthy leadership, with genuine love and ownership.
Yeah, I think service is a beautiful place to start. It sets our heart postured the right way, approaching our relationship, our spouse, and our marriage. And it kind of puts us facing the mirror before it puts us facing anything else. The mirror should be the first place we go to every morning. And guys, thank you so much for riding with us today. Thank you to our production team behind the cameras. We kept them a little later today than we anticipated, but it was going so good, guys. We wanted to just keep it going and make sure y'all got all of the stuff that y'all needed to hear out of what we had today, God. Brad, take us out with a challenge, man, a charge.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We're so proud of you. Lean in this week. Go for it. Pursue that relationship with Jesus. Let's go in. Let's go all in. Let's love our wives big, love our family, show up. Be transparent, be vulnerable. Openness and transparency makes a way for great marriages. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.